Hello, I'm John Richards, here to show you how Paladin Cloud helps you find blind spots in your security. Paladin Cloud is a free, open source cloud security platform built for developers and security teams. This modern cloud security platform helps enterprises establish their security efficacy by identifying risks and gaps in coverage across multi-cloud environments. Let's dig into enterprise security efficacy. What is the efficacy of your security tooling and policies? Or how can you be certain your security tooling and policies are providing their intended protection? Paladin Cloud is extensible with a plug-and-play architecture, allowing connectors to pull in data from third-party systems. We're currently pulling from all three major cloud providers with more connectors under development. Using configuration and metadata, Paladin Cloud enables you to visualize your cyber assets. The next step is verifying security controls and protection. In addition to our connectors for asset inventory data, we have a growing library of plugins to third-party security systems like Qualys, Aqua, Tenable, Red Hat ACS. Paladin Cloud also includes a cloud security posture management module. All of these sources are continuously monitored, and their security findings are enriched and prioritized. Using a modern user interface, these findings are shared with teams in a way that they can identify the most actionable items to focus on to have the largest impact in reducing risks. Now, there are a ton of great vulnerability scanners out there, but if they aren't covering all of your applicable assets, your efficacy may be far lower than you realize. A recent breach attack simulation report found that there is often up to a 50% gap in organizational security coverage. Well, what does that look like? Let's look at an example of an organization we worked with that used Qualys. They were using Qualys and installed it on their EC2 instances, or so they had thought. They installed Paladin Cloud and our Qualys plugin. By comparing their total asset inventory with the data from the Qualys reports, Paladin Cloud could do a gap analysis to show gaps in coverage. They had installed Qualys on over 700 EC2 instances, but they had over 1,400 EC2 instances in total. Their efficacy had been just 50%. This information was surfaced to the different teams so they could then go and remediate their instances. Now, that's enough information in the abstract, though. Let's jump into the platform and see what this looks like. So, welcome to the dashboard. Paladin Cloud continuously monitors for security risks and misconfigurations across your cloud environments. And we group those into violations by severity: critical, high, medium, and low, with a total count for each. We show how many total policies are violated and how many assets are impacted. We also list the average time to remediation. And in addition to severity, we group policies into categories. Their security, the bulk of the policies are security policies, but we've got some in costs, which are unused and underused assets. Operations, these are around efficiency and region requirements. And then tagging, the adoption of your organization's mandatory tagging policies. We have trend graphs that allow you to see the metrics over time. As teams remediate issues, they'll see these violations dip down towards zero. And we also have a graph of how your assets are evolving. And this is useful for forecasting or for spotting anomalies. Now, in the compliance overview section, security risks are categorized by severity and density. This gives actionable intelligence to teams to prioritize their efforts on what's the most impactful way to secure their assets and drive remediation workflows. Now, before we jump into the rest of the dashboard, it's important to understand that all the data you're seeing here is scoped by the active asset group. Paladin Cloud runs across the three major cloud providers, but allows you to slice and dice your assets in whatever way makes the most sense for you. The system gives you asset groups by default for each cloud provider, but you can create your own. Here we have the cloud provider groups, but we can scope them to a specific application or create custom groups. Here we have one that contains the data from all of our clouds kind of pulled together, and we'll use that for this demonstration. Now, everything in Paladin Cloud starts from that cyber asset inventory. And so here on the distribution page, you can see a visual representation of your attack surface or cyber asset inventory. The density of your asset types gives valuable insight into the shape of that inventory. The asset type you have the most of is represented in the bottom right. Now, seeing the shape of their cyber asset landscape is very enlightening for organizations. We had one come in here and discover they had a massive grouping of EBS snapshots. They had been saving snapshots for years and never removing them, and they didn't know it. This ended up costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars because they had to store all of these things on S3 buckets. Now, we have some auto-fix capability. We use that to be able to clean out any snapshots older than a week and save them money. The asset summary lets us look at the total count of our cyber assets. We can also see any assets with exemptions applied to them, and we can take a look at our mandatory tag coverage. We can click through here and go to just a full asset list, and we can filter that to find what we're looking for. We could drill down into individual assets like in EC2 to see any vulnerabilities, misconfiguration, tagging, and asset-specific information on it. Now that we've explored the cyber asset model underpinning Paladin Cloud, let's talk a little bit about where these assets come from. Our extensible architecture allows us to pull in that information from third-party systems to offer up a holistic view of your cyber asset attack surface. And we help you extend your security posture by surfacing coverage gaps and pulling in findings from tools like Qualys, Aqua, Red Hat ACS, and Tenable. So let's jump to the policy compliance section and see how that works. In addition to surfacing findings from the third-party tools, we use it to track security efficacy across your cyber assets. And we correlate the third-party data against the larger asset inventory to find those gaps in coverage. So here we can see our Qualys coverage. This lets us know 100% of our 30 EC2s are being scanned. If we had any that weren't covered, that count would show here. We could click on them to see all the ones that needed coverage. Now, when looking to prioritize efforts, it's usually best to start with critical violations. So here we can dig into the critical violations, and then we can go in to see the details on the specific violation. This allows teams to have the information they need to make informed decisions. The violation follows a standard format, so we've got the status, severity, and asset type. We've got links to the policy with documentation on remediation, and a link to the specific asset. We can also see how long this violation's been open. If you're using a violation that has an auto-fix workflow, you'll see that status over here. And at the bottom is the violation's audit log. A user can request an exemption, flagging this to be reviewed by a security admin. Now, we've already looked at assets, so let's take a look at policies. Here, we see our 434 policies. And you can get more information on the policy, and there's a link to documentation on how to remediate. On the tagging page, we show how well an organization is doing following their mandatory tags. In Fix Central, we house our notifications and recommendations. So notification gives us system and third-party ecosystem notifications. And then recommendation is bringing in data from Trusted Advisor, but instead of needing to check each account individually, you'll find it all surfaced here in one place. Now we have the admin section. Administrators can manage users, they can customize policies by setting things like the organization's mandatory tags or the preferred regions, and they can connect in new data sources, along with some other customization options. Now, prioritization is really challenging. So Paladin Cloud is focused on giving actionable insights into security risks to ensure teams can prioritize their efforts to have the most impact on reducing those risks. If you're interested in knowing more, check out our GitHub page where you can download the code and find links to documentation. And if you like this concept, give us a star. Thanks so much.